They don't understand you. They whisper behind closed doors. Who is this person that keeps surviving what should have destroyed them? What kind of force is backing them? Chosen one. They're not just curious anymore. They're afraid. Afraid of what they can't explain. Afraid of the way you rise from ashes again and again. Afraid of the silence around you because it's louder than their noise. They've watched you walk through fire without burning. They've seen doors slam shut only for gates to open in ways they can't comprehend. They tried to bury you, but didn't know you were a seed. And now they're starting to realize you were never alone. Because every time life tried to break you, something unseen held you together. Every time darkness circled, something divine stepped in. And today you're going to find out exactly why. There's a reason the attacks have gotten more vicious lately. A reason people sense something off about you even when you've said nothing. A reason you feel watched. It's because you've crossed over from obscurity to alignment. From being misunderstood to becoming undeniable. Spiritually, you are not walking alone. You are marked. You are sealed. And now you've become dangerous. This message will reveal the truth they fear. The truth they feel but can't face. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you won't just know who you are. You'll know why you were sent and who's been protecting you all along. Like this video if you feel the fire in your spirit right now. Subscribe if you've been sensing that God has been showing you things nobody else sees. And comment 99 below because Psalm 91:11 says that God commands his angels concerning you. That number is not random. It's a sign of divine protection. Let's go deeper. They watch you, but they can't figure you out. They observe your silence, your choices, your resilience. But nothing adds up because every move you make defies logic. You don't crumble when you should. You don't retaliate when provoked. You don't beg for seats at tables you were sent to flip. To them, you're unpredictable, unexplainable. But in the spirit realm, you are recognized. Recognized by light, resisted by darkness, and completely unreadable to the human eye. You carry an encryption, a spiritual code written before time, etched by the hand of the eternal and hidden in the depths of your soul. This code isn't in your DNA. It's in your assignment, your essence, your divine wiring. It's why demons know your name without you ever speaking. It's why strangers either cling to you instantly or flee from you without knowing why. Because you walk into a room and everything shifts. The air tightens. The atmosphere adjusts. The room knows you're there, even if no one turns their head. And that's the part they can't explain. They don't see flesh. They feel frequency. You are moving through life with a vibration hell cannot copy and man cannot decode. Because your spirit pulses with something ancient, something divine, something that hasn't been seen in generations. You weren't sent here to fit in. You were sent here as a spiritual interruption, a divine disturbance to every plan the enemy had for this era. You were built in secret, refined in fire, programmed in the heavens with instructions that only your spirit understands. And the darkness fears. That's why doors open for you that others have knocked on for years. That's why favor follows you even when you're silent. Because you're not chasing what's yours. You're attracting what's already written in your blueprint. Listen closely. They call you strange. They say you're too intense, too deep, too sensitive. But what they really mean is they feel heaven's fingerprint all over you. And they don't know how to handle it. You were coded for battle. Designed for disruption, marked for moments they thought would never belong to someone like you. You've walked through things others didn't survive, not because you're stronger, but because your code included the override, the hidden access, the divine escape hatch. When hell tried to cancel you, your spirit rerouted. When people tried to erase you, your calling became louder. When betrayal should have silenced you, your voice got upgraded with clarity and fire. Because God encrypted you in a way that no witchcraft, no gossip, no delay could ever touch. They thought the rejection would break you. It unlocked you. They thought isolation would bury you. It activated you. And now they're asking questions they don't have the language to answer. Why can't we shake them? Why does their peace feel like warfare? Why does their presence haunt us after they leave? Because you don't speak to their ears. You speak to their spirits. and your spirit was programmed to trigger their awakening or their panic. That's not pride. That's purpose. And the more you align with it, the more the world will realize you were never meant to be understood. You are meant to be obeyed by realms they pretend don't exist. They can mock, they can speculate, they can even try to imitate. But what you carry can't be replicated. It can only be revealed in divine timing. So keep moving. Keep walking coded, because the time is coming and it's closer than they think, when the veil will lift and everyone will know who you are. And here's the part they're not ready for. Not only will they recognize you, they'll remember you from dreams, from warnings, from moments they ignored. Because heaven has been announcing you long before your voice ever reached a microphone. And just when they think they've figured you out, the next layer of your code will unlock. New authority, new vision, new dimension. Something's about to shift, but we're not there yet. Stay with me, because in the next moment you'll discover why your protection doesn't make sense, and why your enemies keep failing to touch you. No matter how close they get, they ask who's protecting them. Because no matter how many arrows they launch, no matter how many traps they set, no matter how strategically they plan your downfall, nothing ever works. And it's starting to bother them deeply, because you're walking through storms untouched. You're enduring betrayal without bitterness. You're escaping snares that were custom designed to destroy you. They're calling it luck. They're calling it coincidence. But what they don't know is you're protected by more than flesh and instinct. Your covering is not natural. It's ancestral. It's angelic. It's prophetic. Long before you took your first breath, your name was whispered in war rooms of heaven. Declarations were made, assignments were drawn, and heaven sent reinforcements. You don't walk alone. You don't sleep alone. You don't cry alone. Because tied to your spirit are ancient prayers from grandmothers who spoke in tongues when the world was silent, from fathers of the faith who covered future generations in oil and fire, from prophets who saw glimpses of your battle and interceded before you ever existed. This is why the witchcraft doesn't land, why the curses bounce back, why the gossip dies in their own mouths. Because what surrounds you can't be seen, but it's lethal in the spirit. There are angels assigned to your bloodline, not just to you, but to the mission embedded in your legacy. Every time you were supposed to break, an angel blocked it. Every time you were meant to lose your mind, a voice from beyond this dimension whispered clarity. And that car accident, that illness, that freak situation, you weren't lucky. You were covered. Covered by covenant, protected by promises made in heavenly places, defended by forces this world can't measure. You see, your battle isn't isolated. You are the descendant of warriors. Some lived in silence, some died in obscurity, but all of them were preparing the path you now walk. That's why the attacks are so specific, so relentless, so personal. Because the enemy isn't just fighting you. He's fighting everything you carry, everything you're about to unlock, everything your bloodline was denied, but you were born to reclaim. You're a restoration project, a redemption code, a generational response to hell's oppression. And heaven takes that personally. So yes, they see your peace and it confuses them. They hear your voice and it shakes them. They witness your rise and it terrifies them, because you don't look protected. You don't act entitled. You move in silence, but your presence is thunder. They think you have connections. They think someone powerful is backing you. And they're right, but not in the way they imagine. Because while they seek influence in boardrooms, you command it in the spirit realm. While they manipulate and network, you worship and war. And that's why they can't touch you. You don't operate under earthly authority. You move under a sovereign covering. And the moment they try to expose you, God exposes them. The moment they try to humiliate you, God elevates you. The moment they try to curse you, God blesses you in public. Not because you're perfect, not because you're always strong, but because your story has always been bigger than you. The spotlight on your life is not for vanity. It's for vindication. Not just of your name, but of the ones who came before you and never got the platform, the voice, the justice. You are walking evidence of their prayers, and you don't even know half of what was spoken over your life. That's why your steps are ordered. That's why you've been preserved, because there's a prophecy on your name, and heaven is protecting its investment. So let them wonder. Let them speculate. Let them try to study your movements. They'll never understand how you keep surviving. Because the truth is, they're not fighting you. They're colliding with a lineage of light. They're facing off with heaven's military, and they're losing quietly, consistently, and irreversibly. But stay with me, because this next revelation might explain why people can't stand to be near you for too long. Why your energy disrupts rooms. Why your eyes pierce souls. And why people feel judged even when you said nothing at all. You walk into a room and everything shifts. Not because you speak, not because you boast, not because you draw attention, but because your very existence activates something in others, something they've buried. Something they're afraid to face. You don't even speak, and yet they feel exposed. Not by accusation, not by confrontation, but by presence. You are a mirror they didn't ask for, a reflection they tried to avoid, a living reminder of the truths they've suppressed. They see your peace and suddenly feel their own chaos. They hear your silence and their mind gets louder. They witness your freedom and feel their invisible chains tighten. It's not personal. It's prophetic, because the light in you reveals the darkness in them. Not to shame, but to awaken. And here's the twist. You're not trying to change them. You're just being. But what you are confronts who they pretend to be. That's why they gossip. That's why they withdraw. That's why they suddenly flip. Hot one day, cold the next. It's not that you hurt them. It's that your purity confronts their compromise. Your discipline mocks their excuses. Your growth exposes their stagnation. You've become the unspoken alarm clock for those still asleep. And let's be clear, not everyone wants to wake up. You carry a vibration that disrupts comfort zones. People who were content with fake smiles and surface-level living start to question their own masks. When you're near, because you're not playing the same game. While they build identities around applause, you are building character in isolation. While they needed validation, you are cultivating vision. Now you stand in front of them not with arrogance, but with authenticity. And it undoes them, because they've spent years crafting a version of themselves that you accidentally dismantle in seconds just by being real. It's not rejection you're experiencing. It's spiritual recoil. People pulling back because your light touches places they've worked hard to keep dark. And so they project. They say you think you're better. They say you're intense, to spiritual, to serious, to sensitive. But what they're really saying is, you make me feel what I'm not ready to face. They can't admit it. But your healing exposes their wounds. Your honesty threatens their masks. Your consistency spotlights their chaos. It's not conflict you're creating. It's conviction. Because while others are distracted by trends and noise, you walk in alignment. You surrendered to a voice they've been running from, and now that voice echoes through your eyes, your words, your very atmosphere. So don't take it personally when they fall away. Don't chase those who retreat. Don't explain your calling to those still committed to illusion. You are not here to make people comfortable. You are here to make them remember. Remember who they were before the world broke them, before trauma silenced them, before fear convinced them to settle. And that's why you trigger them. Not because you're a threat, but because you are a reminder of truth, of integrity, of purpose. And truth, when revealed in raw form, is uncomfortable, but it is also transformative. You're not causing conflict. You're provoking transformation they're not ready for. But one day, they'll remember you, not for what you said, but for what you made them feel. You'll be the one their soul whispers about when they're finally ready to face themselves. So, keep shining, keep walking, keep disrupting. Because every trigger you activate is a seed of awakening. And though they reject you now, they'll one day thank God you never dimmed your fire. But don't move yet, because what I'm about to share next will explain why your authority feels so unsettling, and why your silence alone is starting to make the wrong people nervous. You never asked for a platform. You never begged to be seen. You didn't force your way into rooms. But when you walk in, something shifts. Not because you're loud, not because you're charismatic, but because you carry a weight that can't be faked, a spiritual gravity that demands respect even when no one applauds. You never needed validation to be real, and that's what unsettles people the most. Because while others chase recognition, you walk in revelation. While they perform for approval, you move with permission from heaven. There's a silence around you, but it's not empty. It's loaded with history, with warfare, with oil, with unseen victories no one celebrated but heaven. People see your calm, but don't understand the roar beneath it. They sense your presence, but can't explain the weight it carries. That's not intimidation. That's authority. Divine authority given, not earned, recognized, not requested. It's the kind of authority that's transferred in the secret place through tears that no one saw, through altars built in invisible seasons, through surrender that crushed your pride and rewired your DNA. And now you're walking in it, not because you wanted influence, but because you paid the price for intimacy. You've been in rooms where people had titles, but no presence, crowds, but no weight, loud declarations, but no echo in the spirit. Meanwhile, your whisper carries more impact than their shout. Your stillness pierces more than their performance. Because what you carry isn't for show, it's for shift. Storms don't recognize followers. They respond to commanders. And when you speak, realms listen. Atmospheres align. Demons adjust, not because of volume, but because of legitimacy. You've been authenticated by fire, endorsed by heaven. And it shows. Even when you try to downplay it, even when you don't want the attention, people feel it. They feel the pull, the weight, the invisible crown that doesn't shine, but governs. And that's why those with performative power feel so exposed around you. Because they've mastered image, but you carry substance. They're addicted to applause, but your anointing doesn't require an audience. You're the one they go to in secret when their public image starts to crack. The one they envy in silence because deep down they know your quiet carries more legitimacy than their noise. But here's the part that's even more threatening. You're not trying to compete with anyone. You're not chasing platforms. You're not posting for validation. You're not building a brand. You're fulfilling a blueprint. That's what terrifies them, because people who don't need the spotlight can't be controlled by it. And people who don't crave attention move in a dimension that systems and egos can't predict. Your authority didn't come from men. It came from being crushed. It came from the dark seasons where all you had was God. And He built something in you that no platform could give and no demon can take. You command storms not by volume, but by alignment. You shift atmospheres not with talent, but with truth. And the spirit realm knows it. It recognizes what you carry even when the world tries to ignore it. Because the truth is, you are known where it matters. In heavenly places, in hell's most wanted list. In the scrolls of destiny where your name isn't just written, it's highlighted. So let them underestimate you. Let them pretend they don't see it. Let them call you to humble, to quiet, to unknown. What they don't realize is the unknown is where true power is formed. And the ones heaven hides are the very ones it plans to reveal with fire. But hold tight, because what's coming next will unlock a truth even deeper than your calling. It will explain why your entire existence has been a battlefield, and why the enemy has been trying for years to stop you before you remember what you really are. They look at your life, the trials, the delays, the betrayals, and they whisper, "What demons are they fighting?" But that question reveals just how little they understand. Because what you're walking through isn't just warfare. It's prophecy in motion. You are not just being attacked. You are being announced. Every battle was a confirmation. Every storm a signal. Every wound a witness that something divine is unfolding through your existence. They thought the fire was meant to destroy you, but didn't realize it was the furnace of formation. They thought the rejection was a setback, but didn't see it was a redirection toward destiny. They thought your silence meant defeat, but didn't hear the sound of heaven rearranging your timeline. The truth is, you're not just fighting demons. You're walking through the echoes of a prophecy that's been chasing you since before birth. That's why you felt out of place. That's why the pressure hit early. That's why people turned on you without cause. Because the moment you stepped into this world, the atmosphere shifted. The enemy sensed it. The earth responded to it. And heaven documented it. You are a sign, a living signal that a prophetic assignment has entered the realm of time. You weren't just born. You were released. Released into a family, a city, a generation that needed what you carry, even if they didn't recognize it. And so the battle began. Not because you were weak, but because your existence is dangerous to the agenda of darkness. You weren't sent here to maintain balance. You were sent to disrupt it, to shift things, to awaken sleeping mantles and activate dormant callings. And that's what they don't understand. The betrayal wasn't about personal offense. It was spiritual interference. The attack wasn't random. It was strategically timed to delay your rising. But it failed, because every delay only sharpened your discernment. Every attack only expanded your capacity. Every setback only drove your roots deeper until your foundation became unshakable. They ask, why does so much happen to them? But the better question is, what happens through them? Because when you show up, things break, chains loosen, rooms feel electric, people get uncomfortable or transformed. There's no middle ground. Why? Because you are not neutral. You are prophetic proof. Your very existence is evidence that the enemy failed. You are the survival story Al never wanted told. And every time you rise again, you confirm a prophecy that's been unfolding since Genesis. A seed of purpose that could not be aborted, silenced, or erased. You didn't choose this. You were chosen for this. And the signs have always been there. Not in ease, but in resistance. Not in popularity, but in isolation. Not in applause, but in alignment. Because heaven does not prepare warriors in public. It builds them in obscurity. And you chosen one are the product of divine preparation. So when they look at you and ask what are they fighting, the answer is every demonic system that knew you were coming. Every generational curse that saw you as the threat. Every principality that hoped you'd never wake up. But you did. You woke up. You remembered. You aligned. And now you're dangerous because you're not just walking with power. You're walking with prophetic momentum. Every step you take fulfills something heaven declared long ago. Every breath you take testifies that destiny is unfolding. Every no you say to the world is a yes to your higher calling. You are not a mystery. You are a revelation. A revelation of what happens when God's word takes form in a human life. A revelation of what it looks like when the hidden rise. A revelation of heaven's plan. Walking, breathing, speaking in a world that thought it had the final say. And it's just beginning. Because everything you've walked through was just the foundation. What's coming next isn't survival. It's demonstration. Proof that no weapon worked. Proof that the assignment cannot be stopped. Proof that prophecy does not return void. But don't move because the next words you're about to hear will not only confirm what you felt your whole life. They will awaken something inside you that can never go back to sleep again. They were right to question you, right to whisper behind your back, right to feel uneasy when you enter a room because you are not who they thought you were. You are not the version they mocked, not the one they dismissed, not the silent shadow they thought would fade. You are the fulfillment of something ancient, a prophecy wrapped in skin, a spiritual weapon disguised as a human being. You are what the darkness feared would awaken. They called you strange, but the heavens call you strategic. They called you broken, but the heavens call you rebuilt for glory. You carry echoes of eternity in your bones, and the fire in your eyes is not rebellion, it's remembrance. You remembered who you are, and the moment you remembered, everything changed. Chosen one, stop apologizing for your fire. Stop dimming what was sent to disrupt darkness. Stop shrinking around people who were never meant to understand your calling. You weren't sent to blend in. You were sent to break cycles, to destroy yokes, to carry power into places still chained by fear. And now the earth feels the shift, because when a chosen one awakens, territories tremble, atmospheres bend, systems collapse. Hell panics. You are not just a survivor of attacks. You are a carrier of divine reversal, a walking manifestation of what was meant for evil. God turned for good. So walk differently, pray differently, Speak like one who has authority because you do. Every delay made you deeper. Every betrayal made you wiser. Every test was training. And now the time of unveiling has come. You don't need to explain yourself. Your existence explains everything. Let them wonder. Let them feel unsettled. Let them watch in silence. Because what's coming through you was never meant to be hidden. You are not a mystery anymore. You are a revelation unfolding in real time. If this word lit a fire in you, drop this in the comments right now. I walk with power they can't understand. Say it with your chest. Say it with your spirit, because that's exactly what's happening. And before you leave, send this to someone who's walking through the fire, feeling unseen, wondering if they've been forgotten. Let them know they're not alone. They're not crazy. They're chosen. And their time is now. Let them question you. Let them fear you. Because when heaven marks someone, hell trembles and the world watches.